In addition to local radio, we're experts at web design and SEO, plus targetable advertising solutions like streaming TV, addressable geofencing, YouTube, Snapchat, Facebook, Spotify, search engine marketing, and so much more. That may sound like a lot of buzzwords, but really all that matters is we can deliver a relevant and ideal target audience to your business with data-informed decisions. No guessing, no waste, and you gain a trusted marketing partner with Town Square Media.
Take your business to the next level. Call our Director of Sales, Jim McLean, today at 609-910-5247.
When you hear this,
they've got him again,
and this,
he scored,
and this,
oh boy, what a move by Embiid!
You think of us. We are sports. 97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City, a Town Square Media station.
The following program is paid for, and the opinions expressed are not those of Town Square Media or station advertisers.
Welcome to the locker room.
Vince Papali, welcome to the locker room.
I can smell it already, Billy. What's happening, buddy?
Von Hayes, welcome to the locker room with Billy Schwein.
Yeah, hey, Billy, how you doing out there?
Rich Gannon, welcome to the locker room, Rich.
Thanks, guys. It's great to be with you.
Great Bob McElwee, NFL referee.
Hey, Bill, how you doing?
Craig Berube. Craig, welcome to the locker room.
All right, thanks, Billy.
We have the real Pat Croce in the locker room.
Get me off the bench, Coach.
And now here's your host, Billy Schwein.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome into the locker room with Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, and Mike Carlin on a beautiful Sunday morning in July the 17th. Good morning, PT.
Billy, how are you, sir? It's good to see you. It's good to be here.
Hello, Mike Carlin.
Good morning, boys.
We got a full studio, and as we inch closer to the beginning of the NFL season, or preseason, I should say, the locker room is starting to rock.
Yes,
we had a big announcement yesterday, Mike Carlin and Pete Thompson, that we will be broadcasting our show from the yesterday's bar and restaurant in Marmora for the Eagles pregame show, PT.
I think that's great news. It's we've been developing a relationship with them for a while.
Yeah, for a while, and I'm super excited.
Dare
Carlin.
I say we've consummated the relationship?
we consummated the deal. Actually, we did, and we're super excited. I know Chuck is very excited.
That's
Chuck
my
Thompson,
brother, Chuck Thompson.
No relation to Pete, but yeah. So
is Adam.
Adam's very excited. But Carlin, we got a lot of special things that we're going to be working on. We're going to have to put our brains, our minds together, and come up with some really creative and fun things to do.
Will we get anything done if we put both of our brains together?
Yeah, we'll get a lot done. Before we get started the show, Carlin, we love our advertisers. Pete, yes. We do. We give our advertisers a lot of love.
I think so.
Now,
that's what makes us special.
Last couple of days, I've gotten to two of my advertisers. I had lunch with Giuseppe Randazzo the other day.
Joe Pop.
Nice. Joe Pop. You know what I had? I had that chicken sandwich with the melted cheese. I had put jalapenos on there.
Should have had the cheesesteak pizza.
Unbelievable, PT.
It's not even on the menu.
But no. Joe Pod, of course, Marianne and young Joe, they and Jack, I should say.
Jack's here.
They do a great job.
He's a Hollywood star.
Yeah, he's a Hollywood star.
He's like one level away from really making.
He's always got a series on HBO.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, he's on HBO now, and he's working on stuff. I'm not going to let it up, but I'm telling you, he's very close.
Right. And then Pete, now I know we talked about this before. You don't eat corn off the cob, do you?
I used to. I just don't like stuff getting stuck in my teeth, and so I'll eat corn like there's nobody's business.
That's what toothbrushes are for, and
brushing your teeth
picks and stuff.
They're called toothpicks.
Yeah. Get them out of there. Well, I guarantee that if you go to Red's Jersey Mex,
this is the item of the week.
PT, I'm telling you.
How did you? Are you a late bloomer to this?
I am. Believe it.
Carlin introduced you
because I'm a creature of habit. PT. I go into the.
I know that.
I go into Red's Jersey Mex. I get the same thing over and over again. Yeah. My brother started getting this street corn. I never really listened. Then Carlin, I saw Carlin eating that all over his face.
What's the first name again?
What do you mean?
What kind of corn is it?
It's called street corn.
Oh, street corn.
Yeah.
I just
Now,
I wasn't sure if you said sweet.
I know where he's going on this.
Right. So my brother's been telling me about it for a little while. I've never had it because, like I said, I'm a creature of habit. But then I go in with Carlin, and I'm watching him eat it. It's all over his face and his hands. To me, that looked great.
All right, describe the corn.
The corn. Well, you describe it.
It's just an ear of corn.
All right, ear of corn.
Roasted.
Oh.
And then he rolls it in this mixture.
Okay.
It's like a thick cheese. Other stuff. I mean, it's
sweet.
So it's almost it's cheesy / buttery. Like there's
like
cheese and butter.
I don't know his recipe for.
Well, he'll have to call us up if Reg is listening.
That's the super secret
but
recipe.
I'm telling you, it is
one
of those things that you can eat really quick. And I'll let you know a little secret. It's the kind of place that you literally can drive down West Avenue. And you're an hour away from dinner, and you're hungry now. You just say, "I just want one piece of corn."
Yeah,
and you'll be in heaven.
So get down to Red's Jersey Mex at 11th and Haven. I'm telling you, Pete, we have to do it. All right,
I'll try it out.
Before we start, we got a great show lined up.
We got a lot today.
We always have great show lined up, Pete.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, Sundays are fun.
Sundays we have
fun day.
We have On the Mound with Tommy Greene, brought to you by
Aaron Bada's Golf and Sports Performance Club. Call 609-788-4661 or visit gsfitness.com for your free assessment.
Because the Phillies are like life support after losing 4. And I wrote with my article on 97.3ESPN.com on Friday talking about the pressure that all these sports teams in Philadelphia are going to be under because they're close. But the Phillies are like a life support after losing 4 straight, 2 to the Cardinals, the last 2 to the Cardinals, the first two games are the only 2 games in Toronto. And then you head to Miami where you've never had any success. Right?
And it's Miami.
And how do you feel about them now?
Yeah. And you have it's Miami. Pete, here's the biggest thing. Then you have a team that doesn't have one player in the starting 9 that's hitting over 260.
Wow.
With their star out.
Sure, but you know what? What a great place for JT Realmuto to start to come alive again.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And we need him.
1,000%.
In this series, he's 5 for 8. He's 5 for his last 8. Okay. And in this series, and he's batting over 320.
I mean, first of all, let's say this. He didn't make the 2-game trip to Toronto. We know that because he was unvaccinated. He said, what's a couple bucks? You know,
right.
I'm not going to pay a couple bucks. That pissed some people off, a couple bucks.
Right.
Like that's more of the money that most people will make in a lifetime. Yeah. But the guy has come out and had 2 big games where he used to play. Right. And I mean, on Saturday, he had the 2-run home run in the 4th, and then a couple innings later, the double and scored a run and
won the game.
I mean, it's
Now, in full disclosure, I went to a wedding last night. My great niece Caitlin Spears was married to Ryan Shipman. They are now husband and wife. Congratulations to them. I was at the Claridge last night,
nice.
So I didn't get a chance to watch the Phillies game. But obviously, looking at the score, checking things out during the wedding. Ranger Suarez looked pretty good last night. He goes 64 pitches. They only let him go 5. It was 10-0. But I'm surprised they didn't let him play a little bit more.
Well, he didn't. No, they did. They wanted to keep him to a pitch count because he was coming off of the injury and 5 scoreless innings. That's great news. If Eflin can come back, that's great news. The staff's rounding out. The All-Star break looks like it's going to help everybody. To Realmuto, and your point on Realmuto, 11 for 30, 4 RBIs in 8 games against the Marlins. I mean, he's killing his old team.
Yeah.
5 hits in these first 2 is in Miami. His overall batting average now up to 251. That's the highest it's been since June 5th. His OPS 717. That's the highest it's been since June 4th. I mean, this is all trending in the right direction, but they got to get the sweep today.
Well, and I want to give Carlin
the series.
I want to give Carlin. I want to give Carlin credit because in what it was like late May, we were really concerned, and I was like, this team's not good. They're not going to make the playoffs. And Carlin was saying, keep the faith. It's early. We kept saying it's getting. Remember, Pete, we were saying it's getting early, late.
Oh yeah,
late. It's getting late, early.
Yeah,
I mean,
I felt like we said that every Sunday.
Right? Carlin was the only one holding true to form, saying that don't worry about it after the All-Star break. Even Quaz said it yesterday on the program. He said after the All-Star break, that's when the season starts.
Yeah.
Now, Carlin,
but we need. Two
this
big
team,
pieces.
Would you agree that this team was on life support?
Oh, no doubt.
In the last 4 games, they were hanging on to the last.
I was listening to Gil last week, and he made some fabulous points. I got to give him his kudos on the Phillies. from losing the 4 straight, and then he walked you through about what it's like to go to Miami.
Yeah.
And going to Miami is, I don't care what kind of team they are, just the atmosphere.
Right.
There's certain away, games that you circle to say, hey, honey, you may want to make plans to meet me down there. I mean, there's certain places you just want to enjoy.
AKA South Beach.
Yeah.
AKA
Clevelander, right?
We were worried about you this morning.
Right. Oh, you should see I come walking in today, and then you guys are both standing up looking to see what I look like.
Yeah, we were shocked.
We look at each other and say, oh, we made it.
I mean, free drinks at a wedding. Forget about it.
But getting back, I mean, the players and the times of the games everything was making it sound like set up for order.
So if they're not focused, it's an easy game.
We could lose 2 out of 3 here, kind of thing.
Right.
And they didn't. And
then, of course, in the second hour, Pete, you and I are hockey guys. Carlin, not so much. But the Flyers, I mean, I don't know if Trader Chuck Fletcher upset you with his comments about it was too much work to try to rework the roster to get Johnny Gaudreau in here. Here's a guy that wanted to be here. He wanted to come back home and play.
It drives me crazy. We're going to get into it with Charlie O'Connor in the second hour of the show, the beat writer from The Athletic. But, I mean, that to me is a colossal and epic failure of Chuck Fletcher. And obviously, there was a period of time where the GM that was the most hated in town was Ruben Amaro Jr.
Right.
Remember that?
Yes, I do.
Because they were bringing in Halladay, and you were like, woohoo, but we're trading Cliff Lee. What? Right? So here, it's a very similar situation, I think. I feel like Chuck Fletcher I think he's a little incompetent, but I also think he's hamstrung. I think that I think above him, Dave Scott and the organization told him there's no way that you're going to be able to clear enough cap space. But, I mean, you saw that it was going in this direction. Johnny Gaudreau wanted to come here. Make no bones about what he said in his introductory press conference with Columbus. Johnny Gaudreau wanted to play for the Flyers. And when is the last time, I asked both of you this, that a 6-time All-Star and a guy that had more points than all but one player in the entire damn league wanted to come to Philadelphia?
And he didn't do anything to roll out the red carpet accommodate. And we'll get to that on the other side. Plus, I want to get your thoughts on Soto rejecting a $440 million contract. We got a great show lined up. Tommy Greene at the first hour, Charlie O'Connor from The Athletic. I got Mike Carlin, Pete Thompson with me. And I remind people the first hour of the locker room is powered by Surety Title. Surety provides comprehensive title insurance protection and professional settlement services for home buyers and sellers, real estate agents, brokers, lenders, home builders, developers, and attorneys to facilitate your real estate purchases. Surety is an industry-wide leader with a team of experts that help you through the entire process. From contract signing to closing with the shortest center city and every place in between, Surety Title is there for you. With 15 office locations in New Jersey and PA, that's Surety Title. For more information, call our good friend Ron Conklin at 856-988-8900. Of course, Pete, they're celebrating 30 years in business because they do it.
They do it the right way.
And
look, they're a great company. And I saw some Surety guys at a golf outing recently and told them that we talk about him each week, and he smiled. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Have you heard of My Winter Watchdog? New Jersey's premier vacant home management service. My Winter Watchdog. You know those worrisome thoughts that creep in your mind every time you hear of a storm coming and the daunting task of driving down to the shore to check on the house hours of time on the road. How about this, Pete? Trash cans blowing all over the place. Your gutters come down. Let My Winter Watchdog be your eyes and ears with their 15-point inspection checklist. They offer a full menu of maintenance and improvement services. Owner Debbie McGonigal and her team of property caretakers are licensed, professional, bonded, and insured. So don't let the winter worry you. They'll give your house that lived-in look. That's My Winter Watchdog. Go to mywinterwatchdog.com or give them a call at 267-202-1869. That's 267-202-1869. Or send Debbie an email, Debbie at mywinterwatchdog.com. All right, when we return, we'll continue with more here in the locker room. Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, and Mike Carlin on 97.3 ESPN and the mobile app.
Tomorrow on ESPN Radio. Some of the biggest bats in all of baseball
Life happens out there. Nature Valley.
It's time to roll out the red carpet for, well, new carpet. Right now at the Home Depot. Choose from hundreds of styles and colors from top brands. Plus, get free installation. So whether you want to brighten up your bedroom, add a little more cushion to your living room, or, yes, add some VIP flair to your hallway, you can get the perfect carpet to match your mood with free installation from the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Minimum purchase of $4.99. Exclusions apply. U.S. only. See store for details.
You're listening to The Locker Room with Billy Schwein on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
All right, back here in the locker room, Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, Mike Carlin. Now, before we went to break, I brought up Soto rejecting a $440 million, was it
14 years.
14 years, $440 million.
Yes.
Who in their right mind rejects something like that?
Someone, like you said, the only thing I could think of, someone who doesn't like Washington.
Pete, would you like to reject? What would your opinion be? Because you didn't comment on it earlier.
Well, I mean, you guys are, I'm not going to interrupt the conversation while
when we break, when we were talking about it off the air.
It's an astronomical amount of money. I can't believe that he's going to reject that, but clearly that's the level of unhappiness that he has with Washington. Look at where this franchise is just a few short years after winning it all, right? I mean, they're a shell of their former selves.
Are they tank? Would you say this is a tank for the Washington Nationals? They got rid of everybody.
No, but I think
they're trying to keep Soto.
I think there's a team that is quietly trying to tank. They play at 3601 South Broad Street.
You think they're trying to tank?
The Flyers? Yeah, but I don't think they're admitting it. I think that they're
but you got to remember Chuck Fletcher. He look. Remember how many times did they say that because the injuries was the reason why they had eight big time players go down to injury for a significant amount of time last year.
Oh, sure, I understand the man.
It's different between what Washington's doing. So let me ask you this, Carlin? Why would Washington start unloading all its good players and then want to keep one? I guess obviously he's young enough to stick around through a complete.
That's a long time, though.
That's a long time.
I mean, that's a long time. I mean.
What are you asking? Why they get rid of everybody?
And then keep
why they keep him?
You still got to sell tickets, right? I mean, you still have to have one franchise player.
But
every team has to have one guy.
Would that surprise you that one guy says, "Screw that! I'm not here. I'm not staying."
Yeah. Well, that's why I asked you before we went on air. Is it him declining it, or is his agent, or is it the both of them?
That's true. We know that agent, right?
We don't know who's making that call. Maybe the agent's Drew saying, "Hey, I can get you more." I think they want more and less. I don't think the 14 years is a big deal. I'd rather have a 7-8 year deal where, he's averaging now, I think they said like 31 million on this deal. Well, maybe he can average 40 million for 7 years, 8 years.
Well, here's another thing we haven't talked about. There's a potential sale of the franchise by the Lerner family. They've owned the Nationals since 2006, and they're exploring the possibilities of selling the team. So, I mean, he said, I don't want to keep losing. Soto hasn't said much about it, and Mike Rizzo, who's the Nationals GM, said, we're not trading Juan Soto. We made it clear to his agent and the player. Well, now Soto's sort of forcing their hand a little bit he's turning down this deal. It's unbelievable.
Let's turn our attention to the Philadelphia Phillies because we started off the show by talking about it briefly. I want to get into the meat and potatoes of it. Here's a team that was on life support coming out of Toronto. And a lot of people were like, including Mike, I think I heard you even talk about it, Pete, how, this is a critical time right now. It's going to define who this team is.
They said within by August 10th, with the series that we have, the next 2-3 series that we have, by August 10th, you'll know if you're in this or not.
Yeah, but the trade deadline is on August 2nd.
August 2nd, right. So, I mean, this is your thing, okay? They're trying to break a 10-year postseason drought. Right. They need guys to come back. And Carlin hinted at this in the first segment. Zach Eflin, they hope to get back. Gene Segura from that broken right index finger. At some point, Bryce Harper should come back. Do you realize that they have like the third best bullpen in baseball?
Yes. They went from
a team that we thought was, for 2 back-to-back years, the bullpen was bad and then it got worse, right? And now they have the third best bullpen in all of baseball. So, I mean, you get a decent outing from your starter. The more games that you can get, like yesterday's game, a laugher, so to speak, the better off you could be. And I got to tell you, like, this unexpected 3 days off for Real Muto because, the vaccine situation, all that.
Maybe he needed that
Helped
time.
him. The rest.
That's the thing. He doesn't want to rest, right? He never said, but he said, he admitted himself. He said it's not often, Real Muto said, if ever you get 3 days off in the middle of the season without being injured. My body feels better than if I played those days. Well, you know what?
So that's just sign to Robbie Thompson that he needs to take his word,
right,
and start resting him a little bit more.
A little bit. Throw Garrett Stubbs in there a little bit.
Let me ask you this question,
It's not like
Carlin.
Stubbs has been
Carlin,
terrible.
Let me ask you this question, Carlin. What kind of grade do you give Robbie Thompson so far? I mean, this team. How did this team play so poorly under Joe Girardi? Was he that strict? And were those guys that stiff and that tight because of Joe Girardi, and now a change in manager make all the difference in the world?
Yeah, well, I think any change that makes a difference. Okay, with it doesn't matter.
Remember we were.
You could have brought in a coach from the outside.
Remember we first
brought in
Girardi's like, how many wins does a manager get you in baseball?
I don't know, but you asked me, I would give him a strong B+.
How about you, Pete?
I'd give him up into the A. I'd give him either a straight A or an A-.
Yeah. All right, so we're
I'm
right
not
there.
going A+, but I mean, look, Topper, Thompson, Tomps, whatever you want to call him, whatever the players call him, right? His approachable and laid-back style has really resonated with the players. It also helps that as Rob Thompson took over as the manager, no relation, that Kyle Schwarber went on an absolute tear.
Yeah, right. He's got 29 home runs now.
Yeah,
he's going to be in the home run derby, which I know you have a concern about. I'm not worried about that.
Good.
But before I talk about that, I want to ask you, out of all the four major sports, the All-Star game, which ones do you like the best?
Now none of them, but I used to.
Oh, I still like baseball.
No, none of them.
Like baseball's the only one that's competitive, Pete.
Not really. I mean,
they're playing for something. They're playing. Remember, you're playing for home field.
Yeah, that's the only good thing I like. When they made that switch, I love it.
That still happens.
Because
I thought they did away with that.
No, because then they play for something. You can tell, like from the fifth inning on, they start playing to win.
Right.
Like in the beginning, it's let's have fun.
Right.
From the fifth inning
the home run
on,
derbies that whole week, the NHL skills is. I love the skills competition in the NHL, Pete. I know you like.
I mean, you're only 4 years off here. In 2018, it says, reminder, the MLB All-Star Game does not determine World Series home field advantage. Since 2017, it was tied. I mean, I don't think it does anymore, man.
I got that.
We got to look it up.
It's still competitive. Baseball's
for some reason, I'm going against Pete. I never do. I think it does have something to do with it.
Listen, Pete.
We got to look it up.
Pete, football's a joke. You'd agree with that.
Football's
NFL
Pro Bowl's I'll tell you what's a bigger joke, and I'm a basketball guy.
The NBA.
The NBA is just an absolute. So that's you're robbing people for selling that ticket.
So skills competition in the NHL is TV worthy, right?
I've never watched.
You don't watch. I'm not
a hockey guy.
Pete,
yeah.
Back me up here.
I'm still trying to effort to find since 2000.
But that's a good question. I don't know what one's better than the other one when it comes to.
You know what I like about baseball? I mean,
the hockey one they destroyed. That's terrible. The basketball one plays no defense.
It's baseball.
The Pro Bowl was enjoyable when it was in Hawaii, and then that became a skills competition.
Right.
So yes, baseball of the four
is the
exhibitions that don't mean anything. Baseball is the best.
I'm just I'm not worried about Schwarber either in the home run derby. That's going to mess his swing up because in batting practice they see me. Didn't Mike Gill just had Doug Glanville on? He was talking about batting practice that he can launch him out of there. They're not seeing 95-mile-an-hour pitches in batting practice. They're seeing you're just getting your
it's right down the middle.
Right. They're not throwing curveballs in batting practice. So why are you worried about him going to the home run derby?
Well,
you're swinging so hard on every swing.
You're uppercutting, and then it's going to change.
You're trying to make it. You're trying to for every swing to be a home run, and I know that's what he is doing the regular season. But there's more to it than that. You're swinging at things that you don't usually swing.
Reese Hoskins is quietly starting to come up in the home run race.
Deep last night.
Yeah, he got his 19th home run last night.
They're the kind of guys you need.
What I tell you guys at the beginning of the season, there's two keys to this Phillies team: is Aaron Nola and Reese Hoskins.
Okay,
you know what you're going to get out of Zach Wheeler, who's, by the way, back to form. What'd you say?
Zach Wheeler should have made the All-Star team.
He should have made.
He got absolutely screwed. And Aaron Nola could have made the All-Star team. And the fact that they haven't named Zach Wheeler the All-Star team as guys got injured, I don't understand why that hasn't happened. But there's 4 names to me that are carrying the Phillies in Harper's absence. It's Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola, Kyle Schwarber, Rhys Hoskins.
Okay.
There's your Beatles. There's your big 4.
There's your big 4.
And if you wanted to go to Pete Best and you wanted to go to a 5th, he was the drummer that left.
So you want
to go to him, you go to Alec Boehm.
You have Nola tonight, and Nola take
Today.
the sweep today. Take the sweep today. But here's a question for you. We were talking about going down to Miami real quick, and who now that Harper's not in the clubhouse, do you think there's someone that steps up to talk to the young players on the plane and say, "Hey guys, I know we're going to Miami. We're on a good stretch here. Let's come down here with a win."
You know what? I think it's by committee. I think it's by committee now. Because in the absence of Bryce Harper, I think you'll see a Schwarber. I think you'll see a Rhys Hoskins. Let's say he's got tenure.
I always wonder who. I always wonder who
tenure of the Phillies.
Like who takes charge now.
Well, I think the leaders, I think Real Muto's a leader. I think that, Harper's
that's
Harper
why I said
is the big leader.
Yeah, but he's gone. So
he's not there.
So I think it's by committee.
Okay, good.
But you're going to go with veteran players.
Sometimes that's good then.
All right, we'll ask Tommy Greene because pretty soon on the other side we're going to go on the Mount with Tommy Greene, brought to you by
Aaron Bada's Golf and Sports Performance Club. Call 609-788-4661 or visit gsfitness.com for your free assessment.
All right, the first hour of the locker room is powered by Surety Title. Surety provides comprehensive title insurance protection and professional settlement services for home buyers and sellers, real estate agents, brokers, lenders, home builders, developers, and attorneys to facilitate your real estate purchases. Surety is an nationwide leader with a team of experts to help you through the entire process. From contract signing to closing, from the shortest center city and every place in between, Surety Title is there for you with 15 office locations in New Jersey and PA. That's Surety Title. For more information, call our good friend Ron Conklin at 856-988-8900. Friends, let me tell you about Maserati, the main line, located just minutes from downtown Philadelphia. They offer a client-focused car buying experience designed to exceed all expectations and invite you to stop and see the area's largest selection of new Maseratis, including the sporty Ghibli mid-size sedan or the class-leading Levante, the only SUV worthy being called a Maserati. Maserati, the mainline, also leads the nation in certified pre-owned sales and has the highest quality like new Maseratis available in the market. Your experience does not end at the point of a sale, as Maserati, the mainline, offers free pickup and delivery for scheduled service appointments and provides a new Maserati loaner car. So be audacious. Call my good friend Michael Pileggi at RDS Auto Group today at 484-804-4800. That's 484-804-4800. Or visit them online anytime at MOTML.com.
Just to jump in here, since 2017, the All-Star Game stopped determining which league had home field advantage in the World Series. It's about nothing but pride and the chance for players to show they belong among the best. So you guys were only 5 years off.
All right, when we return, we'll go on the Mount with Tommy Greene. You're listening to The Locker Room with Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, and Mike Carlin right here on 97.3 ESPN and the mobile app.
Better than that first cup of coffee in the morning. It's Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Weekdays starting at 6.
really goes without saying, you should instead not say it and just give a knowing look.
Well, folks, it goes without saying.
What does?
The thing that I'm not going to say.
Okay.
Switch and save with Geico. It's easier than you think.
You're listening to The Locker Room with Billy Schwein on 97.3 ESPN and the free 97.3 ESPN mobile app.
All right, we're back in the locker room. Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, Mike Carlin. Today we're having a fun little Sunday talking sports, as we always do, and each and every Sunday we go on the mound with Tommy Greene, brought to you by
Aaron Bada's Golf and Sports Performance Club. Call 609-788-4661 or visit gsfitness.com for your free assessment. I don't know about you, Billy, but I was watching the open coverage, and the guys warming up on the range before they went off the tee off. You know what was right behind them?
Who?
TrackMan, the TrackMan technology.
Get out, really?
Absolutely. It's not enough to warm up these days. You got to have all your analytics and your data. What's my swing speed? Am I off plane?
Analytics. You
got to have it all.
Right, let's go to the Maserati, the Mainline Sports Hotline, and welcome in the former Phillies pitcher, Tommy Greene. Good morning, T. Greene.
Good morning, guys. What's up?
Well, I'll tell you what, man. We thought the Phillies were on life support, losing the last two in St. Louis, dropped 2 in Toronto, without one guy in their starting 9 above 260 in a batting average, headed to a place where they can't win, and all of a sudden, they got life, Tommy Greene.
Well, I tell you, it all comes down to the way I look at it is pitching. They got some quality pitching down there in Miami, and it helped turn some things around. Anytime you can beat probably the number one guy in the National League right now, the way he's pitching, Alcantara, that's a good job. And scratching across the runs when you need to get them, and also having the pitching with Gibson doing what he did. That was an outstanding job, what he did.
Tommy Greene with us for his On the Mound segment. Aaron Nola today, and Aaron Nola's kind of been a bad luck. He just hasn't gotten some run support, and that he's had a couple times where it hasn't quite been there. But his ERA overall, 3.35, is pretty darn good.
Well, he's not pitching bad. You can't expect to be perfect all the time and not give up no more than 1 or 2 runs a game. It's tough to do that during the course. You're going to have those games, and during the course of a year where you're going to kind of make a few mistakes and they're going to capitalize on them. And that's exactly what happened. But, that's why it's called a team game, it's not just, you got to have each other picking each other up from time to time. And that's the sign of a good ball club. And we've been through our stretches when we've done that. We tend to tread water a little bit sometimes, but I think hopefully before too long we'll get the guys we need back that really solidify our lineup. If we can just hold on to keep us close enough to give us a chance to do that and get in, that's all you can hope for with this team, is get healthy at the right time and get into playoffs to give a chance to make a run at it.
How about this stat? Since June 1st, the Phillies bullpen has a 3.03 ERA. That's the 4th best in all of baseball.
Well, I tell you what, that's why you play as 162 games, and everybody seems to realize that things can turn around and get on a good track. You remember me when I told you earlier in the year, I said it's early, give them a chance to get their feet wet and get on the groove. They had a tough spring training to get ready, and hopefully now they found their niche and where they need to be, and they got a lot of confidence going on down there, and it seems like they've got their arms back a little bit with Romero. It's good to see him back pitching. That's a quality left arm if he can come in and just be consistent with his command and stuff, because he's got the tools.
Hey, Tommy, it's Michael. Question for you. Before we go down to Miami, we're coming off 4 straight losses.
Yeah.
Is there a player, or does this still happen? I was asking Billy and Pete. Does it still happen that, like, when you're flying down on the team plane, does one of the veterans go and sit next to like a rookie or a first year, second year to say, hey, Miami's a fun place to go. Just watch yourself. We're in the running here and we need this series. Does that stuff still happen, or rookies and first teamers, they pretty much think they know everything?
Well, I know it's hard for me to say the way it is now. the way they run their ship in the clubhouse, who's the leaders and that type of thing. But I know back when I did, we had a pretty loose crew and we did things, but we also had a bunch of veterans that me, guy, myself, and that you kind of watch, what they do a little bit. They had a good time, but when it come time to get serious, not that you're not serious all the time, but you get your rest and get your sleep when you can. Starting pitchers are a little bit different than others. The leaders on our team, especially Darren, if he saw something that was a little wacky, got to whack a little bit with somebody, he would address it. Have just a conversation with you. Just between you and him, and that's the type of leader he was. But I know as a professional, you got to take pride in yourself. Your job's not to go out and party all the time. And yes, have a good time, but do it. You got to take in consideration that you got a job to do first there, and that's why you're there. And that's what you have to. That's the way you have to look at it and treat it. And like being a starting pitcher, I pitch once every fifth day, so maybe the couple of days, the night I pitch, after I pitch, that next day might be the days where you kind of let your hair down a little bit, relax a little more, have a little bit of fun. But after that, it's all about getting your body. You have to get your body right again to get all the soreness and do what you need to do, need to work on. Depending on how your last start went, and stay consistent at what you're doing.
We're talking with Tommy Greene on the Maserati, the Mainline Sports Hotline. Tommy Greene, I'm looking at Aaron Nola's numbers because he's on the hill today. He's 5-7 with a 3.35 ERA, which leads me to believe, and we've seen that the Phillies just don't score for him. And it reminds me of Cole Hamels that couple years where Phillies just wouldn't score for him. How as a starting pitcher, what's the mentality like knowing that you have – do you think about that first off? Does a starting pitcher think that I never get a run support, or is it something you don't even think about?
Well, as a starting pitcher, I think it's something you can't think about. It's about you going out there and doing the best you can. And if you start thinking about it and you start complaining about it, hey, I know somebody's going to come up to you, especially one of the leaders is going to say, well, if you're worried about that stuff, why don't you pitch better? You know what I mean?
But he's been pitching really well, Tommy.
Yeah,
it's not like he hasn't been.
Hey, well, I know, but if you complain about runs, they can complain about you giving up runs. You know what I mean? Yeah. So best thing to do is keep your mouth shut, try to do the best you can, and be more consistent with what you do. You always can be a little bit more consistent in what you do. He's had a good year and he's pitched well. I know. So there's no rhyme or reason about the reasons why. Other than their matchups, when you match up when you're at the top of the rotation like Wheeler and Nola are, they're also matching up against pretty good guys too. You have to remember that on the other team, it seems to work out that way a little bit. They're facing pretty much the top end of the other guys' rotation too, is the way it's been geared. So.
He's a horse. He got 118 innings pitched, the most on the team, Pete.
Yeah. Hey, you can make an argument, Tommy, that Aaron Nola should have made the All-Star team, but you really could make one for Zach Wheeler. Absolutely. What was your impression of him not making the All-Star team? Is that the ultimate snub, and how do you think he takes that?
Well, something's really out of his control. All you can do is go out there and try to do your job, and bottom line is the manager, I don't know, the way it's done now, they change it so much the way the All-Star teams is picked and stuff like that, but I knew the manager back in the day of the National League and stuff had to say so. On who was pitching, so to speak. It wasn't like voted on by the fans or anything like that. So I know I was sort of in the same boat when I was, back in '93. I was 11-2 at the break and didn't make the make the All-Star team. Bobby picked John Smoltz because
that's his guy.
Well, obviously, and I got it because right before the break, sort of I struggled a little bit, and I had an outing or so pretty decent before then, but before then I had like 3 or 4 outings where I struggled. I went from like a 1.70 ERA to like a 3. So I gave up some runs, So that was one of the reasons. And tell you the truth, I needed to break physically. That it was extra 3 days, sort of like to take a step back, let your body recover a little bit, and my arm kind of came back a little bit because sometimes you get there where the ball just doesn't come out like you're expecting it to, and it's more the dead arm blues, sort of like the spring training blues again you get sometimes where the ball just it feels like you're throwing a shot put rather than some baseball. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just one of those type of things where you I don't think you can let something like that bother you. I think my first wife, was more mad that I didn't make it than myself. Because bottom line, I mean, you get it an incentive bonus, by making the All-Star team. But I mean, bottom line, that's not what you're there for. We're there for the season to get into postseason to give us a chance to win. And bottom line, that was my job, and that's the way I looked at it. And I think that's the way these guys look at it too. It's great to make the All-Star teams. Those guys, have made it, and it's just. But the bottom line, that's not the goal. It's for them. Is to get to the postseason. If that extra day off, since they are pitching deeper in games than any other of our guys. Sometimes that extra day or two off can kind of recharge your batteries a little bit. Hopefully, get them kicked off in the second half.
Yeah, look at what it did for JT Realmuto. He took 3 days off and he came back and he's hit the cover off the ball. Hey, what'd you think of Suarez yesterday coming off the injured list? He looked pretty darn good.
Well, I tell you what. You hate that. You think that getting injured or being on the injured list and coming back, it is that he's going to pitch well, but it shows you the work he's kind of put in getting ready for that start that he's put in on the side to be, because he didn't walk anybody, and he was challenging the zone, and he looked like he did back last year. So a lot more. It's tough to pitch like he did last year. It's hard to not give up hardly any runs at all every time you pitch. But, to have that, that's the thing. That's what we needed in a start like that. But also is what we need at the back end of that rotation again is solidifying, 4 and 5 again. So, it's giving us a chance to win and knowing what we got day in and day out. And that's what we need. Hopefully he can keep it going.
Okay, Tommy Greene, we always enjoy and appreciate you with your insight with the Philadelphia Phillies every Sunday. On the Mound with Greene, brought to you by
Aaron Bada's Golf and Sports Performance Club. Call 609-788-4661 or visit gsfitness.com for your free assessment.
All right, Tommy, now, the summer's flying by. We all got to get together for a couple pops.
I hear you.
All right.
I hear you. There's always time for that.
All right, Tommy, have a great rest of your weekend, man. Thanks.
You got it, pal.
Take care.
There is Tommy Greene on the Maserati, the Mainline Sports Hotline. I love Tommy Greene. He's the best.
Every Sunday. I'm so glad we booked that segment and made it work and made it a regular part of the rotation, so to speak, as Tommy likes to say.
All right. First Hour of the Locker is powered by Surety Title. Surety provides comprehensive title insurance protection and professional settlement services for home buyers and sellers, real estate agents, brokers, lenders, home builders, developers, and attorneys to facilitate your real estate purchases. From the shore to Center City and every place in between, Surety Title is there for you. With 15 office locations in New Jersey and PA, that's Surety Title. For more information, call our good friend Ron Conklin at 856-988-8900. Now, PT, I got something for you and Mike Carlin.
Oh, I got a trivia question on the other side.
Just about everybody has heard about, in our area, has heard about the Jersey Man and Philly Man magazine.
That's right, Ken Dunnick, yeah.
Guess where the next Jersey Man event is?
Down here.
Yes, it is.
Where is it?
At the pool at Harris.
Oh, hello.
You got to get me in. I've never been.
I'm taking the locker room.
What's the date?
The 28th of July.
Okay.
Thursday night, 5:30 to 7:30 at the pool.
Well, let me see what I have on Friday.
All right, so get your schedules.
Oh, there's lifeguard racing the next day.
Yeah, that's right. Well, that's
Thursday.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying that I could be impaired after I leave that thing.
Guess what?
You can't make that one either.
I'm in Florida.
I'm gonna have the whole locker room guys there.
I'm going. I'll be there.
Everybody's heard about the Jersey Man and Philly Man magazine run by ex-Philadelphia tight end Ken Dunnick, where you wear their private business network they call the Legacy Club. Every month, they'll private events at upscale locations in Philadelphia, South Jersey, and attract over 200 top business people. If you have an interest in attending one of these events and sees it fit for your business, send an email to ken@jerseymanmagazine.com or give him a call at 856-912-4007 for more information. I recommend that if you have a business, you want to get out there and network, Pete, we went there at the Medford Country Club.
Medford Village. It was outstanding. It was outstanding.
This is a great venue to meet people. And now that it's at the pool here.
Have you been to the pool?
Oh, my God.
I was back there way back in the day when it first opened.
You want to make sure that you get in touch with Ken Dunnick and get yourself down there. It's a very good opportunity.
Couple text messages on the other side and a trivia question for you, too.
All right, when we return here, more in the locker room with Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, and Mike Carlin on 97.3 ESPN and the mobile app.
Coming up on the next edition of the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
Coming up Monday, Phil's at
We checked out the competition. Sir, how much do we need for a down payment?
Well, 2,000 down should do it.
Book 'em.
Wait, what are you doing?
Every vehicle should be one dime down.
But that's only at Springfield Mitsubishi Atlantic City. And they got that credit amnesty.
If you bring home $350 a week, you could get up to $25,000 in credit. $25,000 with only one dime down.
Even the new Outlander with third row seating?
Yes, sir. The all-new Springfield Mitsubishi Atlantic City in Pleasantville. They service all makes and models. Springfield Mitsubishi AC.com. Springfield Mitsubishi AC.com.
New 22 Mirage 16 Ford, dine down, $249 a month for 72 months at 3% APR plus tax tag title to qualified buyers.
Now, more of the Locker Room with Billy Schwein on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
And welcome back to the Locker Room here on 97.3 ESPN. Pete Thompson, Billy Schwein, Mike Carlin with you here on a Sunday. I've promised a few text messages when we come back on this side of the break, starting with
Mr. Bet.
Yeah, let's go,
Mr.
Bets. That's got to be
Bet.
your guy, Jeff Dowling,
Yes.
right? And Dan from EHT has chimed in twice, so we appreciate that. Dan early said it's the biggest series win for the Phillies in 11 years. It's hard to believe the stinking Marlins are the equivalent of the Cowboys. I can't stand those fish. And then he said, I wonder if the Phillies should sit Stott for Segura. Stott seems like he's getting it now. It's a good problem to have, but still, Segura is a better hitter than Stott. But Stott's been a better fielder. So, I mean, that's your question.
Yeah,
are you looking for offense or defense? Segura has an ability to spray the ball to all fields and maybe hit it over the fence. Stott, you get a home run out of him like you did that walk-off against the Angels. That's a rarity. That's not a norm, okay? So
Stott went 2 for 5 last night.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
hit the ball a little bit.
But he's not a home run hitter.
No.
I mean, and in this game, obviously the home run hitters are what can jump you up in the scoring column.
So what did Mr. Mets say?
He just said, "Let's go Mets." That's it.
Oh, yeah. So he just had to throw his 2 cents in like
Of
that.
course he did. Did you ever buy him that meal, by the way?
Yeah, I still owe him.
Oh, yeah, typical.
All
right,
I haven't seen him.
Here's your trivia question. Oh, and 609-403-0973. 609-403-0973 if you'd like to text in to the show. Which Phillies pitcher, Billy and Mike, has the most strikeouts in an All-Star game? Which Phillies pitcher has the most strikeouts in an All-Star game?
I would say Kurt Schilling.
Okay, Schilling says Billy. Mike Carlin,
It's
instead
not
of just
Carlton.
firing off an answer.
It could be Carlton.
Yeah, I don't. That's too easy to say Carlton.
No,
I
but
think.
what about Halliday or what about Cliff Lee?
I'm going to go with Cliff Lee.
I mean, one of the things you got to think about too is guys that are in the All-Star game generally only get an inning.
Right.
Generally.
So I would say Schilling because he was a power pitcher.
I'll go with Cliff Lee.
Schilling and Lee, the two choices. Now, I could have given you the options, but I didn't want to make it too easy.
Right.
This actually was listed as an ABCD. It was listed as Steve Carlton, Robin Roberts, Jim Bunning, or Turk Farrell.
Wow.
The answer is
Jim Bunning.
Turk
Farrell.
Robin Roberts. He struck out 5 batters in 3 innings at the 1954 All-Star game in Cleveland. Mike likes Cleveland. Listen to the batters. Al Rosen, Chico Carrasquel, Whitey Ford, Mickey Mantle, Hank Bauer. Hey, Whitey Ford, Mickey Mantle, Hank Bauer. That's no joke.
A White Marsh guy too, Pete.
Who's that?
Robin Roberts.
Oh, I thought it was Kurt Simmons was the White Marsh guy.
No. He was White Marsh Township.
He lived in White Marsh?
Yeah.
All right, hour number 1 in the books. Hour 2 ahead of us. We're going to do a little Eagles and Flyers talk on the other side. Maybe a little Sixers. We'll be talking with Charlie Connor from The Athletic. All that and more. It's the Locker Room with Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, Mike Carlin, right here on 97.3 ESPN and the mobile app.
Hey, I'm Pete Thompson.
And I'm Billy Schwein.
Now listen, Billy, I know you're
care of his heart in all sorts of new ways.
That's right, Buzz. Now, spinners, really pour your heart into it and pick it up.
Learn more by picking up a box of Cheerios and check out our Pour Your Heart Into It audio workouts with Ice-T and Buzz to get your heart pumping.
With all the sports we have, every time of the year is the best time of the year.
And the crowd just buzzing with excitement.
On 97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City, a Town Square media station.
Set, red 83.
Welcome to the locker room.
Vince Papali, welcome to the locker room.
I can smell it already, Philly.
Ron Hayes, welcome to the locker room with Billy Schwein.
Yeah, hey, Billy, how you doing out there?
Rich Gannon, welcome to the locker room, Rich.
Thanks, guys. It's great to be with you.
Great Bob McElwee, NFL referee.
Hey, Bill, how you doing?
Craig Berube. Craig, welcome to the locker room.
All right, thanks, Billy.
We have the real Pat Croce in the locker room.
Get me off the bench, Coach.
And now here's your host, Billy Schwein.
All right, we're back here in the locker room. Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, Mike Carlin. Of course, we're streaming live on my YouTube channel, The Locker Room, Billy Schwein. And, of course, my Facebook page, Billy Schwein. Want to check us out, see what we're wearing, what the facial expressions we make or whatever. You check us out there.
You sure
what we're wearing? Who's tuning in for what we're wearing?
See, Billy, you got Philly. You're wearing a nice Philly shirt. I like that.
They're red hot, man.
I got my ESPN shirt on, right?
I got my feminine.
And Carlin's wearing pink.
My feminine side's coming out.
Or is that mauve?
You can call it. You can call it salmon. You can call it salmon. That'd be fine.
All right, now, PT.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of salmon.
Hey, now. I saw a lot of feather boas, and sparkles, and glitter. And
you went to the Elton John concert.
man.
I want you to tell us all about it, and I want you to give me the playlist because Elton John. I mean, he's a rock and roll Hall of Famer for sure.
One after another.
He's got just one hit right after another.
And he came right out with him. I mean,
lay it on his feet.
You started with Benny and the Jets.
Oh, Benny
right
out
of the bat. You know
when that song came out was in the height of Bernie Perrant during his days,
right?
And we used to change the words to Bernie in the Nets.
Yeah, there you go. Well, Bernie's. I mean, look, some people call him Benny. Like I think Lou Nolan calls Bernie Benny. I think that's been his nickname.
Bernie in the Nets, aka Benny in the Jets.
Then he played Philadelphia Freedom. That was pretty cool to hear that in Philadelphia.
You said that on the Mike Gill on the Sports Bash with Mike Gill. You said that it'll be his second song. You called that.
Oh, sure. I mean, a lot of times if you can like a setlist setlist.fm, you can go to that and pretty much predict what they're going to play these days. You know, you were giving me crap. You said, why did I write it down? Why do I have to write it down? They're automatically posting it.
Because I'm a newspaper guy.
Yeah, I know, but it's an electronic age, man. They're posting it as the songs came out. The first switch, if you will, was like after they played Benny and the Jets, Philadelphia Freedom. Guess that's why they call it the Blues Border song. He gave a little tribute to Aretha Franklin before he played that. Tiny Dancer. But then the first switch was they had burned down the house is what was going to be the sixth song that he played in the UK.
Right.
This was his first date back stateside. He played Have Mercy on the Criminal. So that was a different song, you know. Rocket Man, Take Me to the Pilot, Someone Saved My Life Tonight, Leave On, Candle in the Wind. That was really
Leave
good.
On's a great song.
Leave On's a great one.
About that one.
So, okay,
and then musically speaking, Funeral for a Friend and Love Lies Bleeding. That's a good little two-pack there. Now, another one that I'd never heard before and certainly had never heard live, All the Girls Love Alice. I mean, that is obscure. And it's off of his, what album is that off of? My brother had never even heard it. It's off the Goodbye Yellow Brick Road album in 73.
So that's right, 73. That's my favorite album of all of his. It's Goodbye Yellow. It had every song on that album's a hit.
But he played one off Don't Shoot the Piano Player too, and I'm trying to remember which one he played.
So Carlin, what's your favorite Elton John song?
Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting.
Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting.
Yeah. And Rocket Man.
I had to say, I think Goodbye Yellow Brick Road.
Have Mercy on the Criminal is off of Don't Shoot the Piano Player. Okay. So that's why when that came out, and then the one for me, guys, I mean, look, this stretch, and it was later in the set, but when he played Bitch is back. I'm still standing. Crocodile Rock. Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting. That 4-pack.
Oh man!
Everybody was on their feet. Everybody was dancing. Everybody was singing and totally into it.
Where did you sit?
We were in 130. We were in 130, row 31. So we were really close to
left field line.
But we were just like 2 sections or a section and a half outside of the Diamond Club. Okay. You know what I mean?
Right.
The low club there.
Right.
You know, so we were straight onto the stage. The best part about it was we were right where that main gate is that comes in, the third base gate. Yeah. So you went in there and you went right into our section.
That's beautiful.
So that was all. Paston Stowe was there. The Johns were there. Wait, I didn't get to say this.
Oh.
The one song made its tour debut, and it was Mona Lisa's and Mad Hatters. And if you've ever seen the movie Almost Famous, that's Penny Lane's favorite song, Mona Lisa and Mad Hatters. And I'd never heard him sing it live.
Wow.
And it was outstanding.
I've seen Elton John twice, and I think I saw him down in Virginia. I can't remember. But Pete, I just kid around with you. I never wrote a list down. And matter of fact, when I go to concerts, I can't remember what I heard.
Well, you should start going to this setlist.fm. You can always find this stuff. You know?
I saw him out in Vegas at Caesars.
Did you?
That was nice.
In a residency kind of thing.
Yeah.
That
was nice. So I've seen. Who are your legends of rock and roll? How many legends? The Stones.
Well,
I've seen the Stones.
Right.
I've seen
I used
Elton
to ask
John.
this was like my icebreaker when I used to try to be like wooing the ladies. Right. I'd be like, if I could give you 2 tickets tomorrow to either an artist or a group, dead or alive, who would you want to go see? And for me, mine was the Beatles because I never saw the Beatles. Right. Then it was Zeppelin, right? It was the Beatles, Zeppelin, the Stones, the Who, and the Doors, I think, at one point. Well, I've now seen the Stones, right? I haven't seen Zeppelin, but I saw Get the Lead Out There, a great Zeppelin act. So, then I started mixing in other people. The Beatles are still in there because I'm never going to see them. The Doors are still in there.
Right.
But then I've added in guys like I would have loved to have seen Frank Sinatra. Never saw Frank Sinatra. Would have loved to have seen the chairman of the board.
I've seen the Stones. I've seen the Police all over the place. Obviously, you guys all know I love the Police. I've seen Elton John. I saw Paul McCartney. Now let me ask you a question. I saw him at the Super Bowl in Jacksonville. Does that count?
I was in Jacksonville.
Oh yeah.
Does that count?
Yeah. I mean, he played a hell of a set list. I remember that.
Yeah, that was.
I have a ticket that I don't. Let's see if either of you went to this show. You ready? It's called Live Aid.
Oh no! Guess what? I was there.
Yep.
I was there.
I was there, but didn't get in.
That's funny. That's funny.
I left. I was working at the airport, Philadelphia International Airport.
That day was hot.
It
was hot.
That day was so hot.
But
I bought a shirt.
The best part of that day, literally, they kept announcing it. Like we would see David Bowie on at 11 o'clock.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, remember back in the day, we had the Concorde.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they were all jumping on the Concorde. And then they came 8 o'clock at night, 8:30. All of a sudden, you saw them right in front of you live. And it was just, for me, it was just unbelievable.
Do you remember who opened up Live Aid? The group that opened up Live Aid?
I don't, but I remember George was there.
The George Harrison.
George
Thorogood. Oh, you love
Delaware Destroyers.
Because I'm thinking, I don't remember Harrison.
That's all I care about. He was there.
Billy, do you remember the group that opened up Live Aid in Philadelphia?
No. Like I said, I wasn't
so it's got to be a Philadelphia Paul Notes.
Hall Notes.
That's a great guess. That's incorrect. It's one of my favorite groups from when I was in high school around that time.
Wait. Tommy Conwell and the Young Rumblers.
Very good guess. Incorrect. Bigger than Tommy Conwell.
Beaver Brand or Beaver.
John Caffrey and the Beaver Brown Band.
How about the Hooters?
Yes. Oh, you got it for $1 million. Good job, Billy.
Who was the guy that sang, I'm a personal friend to Gloria Vanderbilt? Escalator of Life. Who was that? We're riding on the escalator of life. Yes, he played at Gables. We're rocking in the human mall. Remember that one?
Please don't
He's
say.
a Philly guy.
Do you remember how he just said that he was talking about girlfriends and tickets and stuff like that? So real fast.
That was Robert Hazard.
Robert Hazard.
Real fast. I'm in high school, senior year, and I'm dating my wife to be. And this is in September. And we go out, we have a great date, and everything's going great. And all of a sudden I just slip in. I said, Are you a Bruce Springsteen fan? And she goes, I love Bruce Springsteen. I said, I have tickets, but I said the show's not until the middle of November. I didn't know it until this day. She tells the story that she stayed with me just to get to the concert.
Oh, that's hilarious!
She tells people that
sugar daddy,
and she meant it. She tells me she goes, I liked him, but I didn't like him.
I've never seen. I never really liked Bruce Springsteen.
Not in the '80s when he was he was the biggest thing out there.
I was a big Police.
He puts on the show.
I went to the Grateful Dead. I went to the Police. Have you ever been to a Dead show?
I had tickets for the Dead's show in Philadelphia at the Spectrum in
the
'94, and I got the job in Nebraska, so I couldn't go. And then Jerry died.
I've seen Hall & Oates. I've seen the Pretenders. I've seen Men at Work. In Excess.
I've seen In Excess. They're outstanding.
They're pretty good.
I've seen In Excess a couple times. But
I would like to see.
So, Carlin, are you gonna? I've seen you two a bunch.
Never seen
a bunch. Are you gonna not go? Springsteen's U.S. tour dates are out. Did you know that?
Take your wife to
it. But here's the thing, Carlin.
Will she stay with me? She'll stay with me.
As a huge basketball fan, are you aware of the conflict? Bruce Springsteen is going to play Philadelphia on March 16th. What generally happens in March?
Final basketball tournament.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a basketball tournament.
So the NCAAs will be going on. He's in Philly March 16th, State College the 18th,
St.
Boston
Patty's
the
Day
20th.
the 17th.
So my a guy that I worked with at US Air, Paul Ramagano, he's the drummer for Tommy Conwell.
Yeah, I heard you talk about Tommy Conwell the other day.
He still drums with
I'm
Tommy.
Not Your Man. I remember Tommy Conwell.
I ain't looking for no hero. Play that song, Pete.
Are you a Kevin Bacon fan? Are you a Kevin Bacon fan? Like as an actor?
I like him in Few Good Men.
Because you know he's coming to Ocean City Music Hall, Music here on
really?
the 3rd. Him and his brother are in a band.
He was in what? Footloose, right?
Footloose.
He was in what?
Jack,
Just pick a movie. There's a whole game about him called 6 Degrees of Kevin
What's the
Bacon.
one with Jack Nicholson where you can't handle the truth?
That is Few Good Men.
And he was with.
He was in a lot. That was his best performance.
Yeah.
For me,
you didn't like him in Apollo 13.
Loved him in that.
See, I think PT.
You didn't like him as the freshman pledge in or the
Animal
Hit me again.
Right? Survey have another.
Come on. Kevin Bacon and Michael Bacon are the Bacon brothers. Yes. And they're very good. He's a Philadelphia guy as well.
Yeah.
Pete,
for Washington.
Guys.
I think his dad actually planned the city of Philadelphia. He was a city planner. Edmund Bacon.
Hey, guys, the second hour of the locker room is brought to you by the Great Bay Country Club. We love it down there, don't we, Pete?
That's right. It's always a great day, Great Bay. Even though I know that's the old
right now, they got lots of new renovations, a new outdoor patio overlooking the first tee with a fire pits. You've seen those, Carlin, right? The new fire pits. They have a new sound system, landscaping. They're working on a big outside deck with a view of the 18th green for entertainment. Of course, they do weddings. They have new pro shop, Pete. You've been down.
I have, and I've been in the new pro shop. They did a great job with it.
Yeah, they have new apparel lines, including Fairway and Green, Stitch, Johnny O, Doc Murphy, completely renovated park room for dining. Of course, they do weddings now, Carlin.
Mm-hmm.
And we were there for the.
You realize
that
the park room is named after Willie Park, right?
Park.
Like that's a historic golfer.
Yeah, we were there for the Vanderslice.
Yeah, I've been there for a couple.
Radio Ron Ralston was showing me all around all the new stuff. They do weddings. They have an award-winning culinary banquet staff. They customize your menus. They seat up to 275 people for weddings. So book now for 2023. Social memberships are now available. For more information, go to greatbay.com or give them a call at 609-927-5071. Great Bay Country Club in Summers Point, New Jersey. See why it's always a great day at Great Bay. And, of course, when you get down there, say hello to Radio Ron Ralston. All right? My Winter Watchdog. Have you heard of New Jersey's premier vacant home management service, My Winter Watchdog? You know those worrisome thoughts that creep in your mind every time you hear of a storm coming and the daunting task of driving down to the shore to check on the house, hours of time on the road, or if you're away for the winter, you're in Florida or Hawaii, let My Winter Watchdog.
That to me is the greatest. I mean, that's because we have people that, you know, are going to relocate snowbirds and get down there. And just to have the peace of mind of knowing that somebody's looking after your property.
Plus,
and
when you meet Debbie,
she's the best.
You'll not only will you want her to take care of you, probably want her to design it. I mean, she is class all the way. Let My Winter Watchdog be your eyes and ears with their 15-point inspection checklist. They offer a full menu of maintenance and improvement services. Owner Debbie McGonigal and her team of property caretakers are professional, licensed, bonded, and insured. So don't let the winter worry you. They'll give your house that lived-in look. That's My Winter Watchdog. Go to mywinterwatchdog.com or give them a call at 267-202-1869. Or send Debbie an email, Debbie@mywinterwatchdog.com. All right, guys, when we get back, let's talk a little Eagles football.
Oh, I thought we were going to talk hockey leading
We're going
into Charlie.
We'll do
a little both.
Smorgasbord.
All right, because there's not a lot of Eagles right now. We could talk a little.
I have a few. Well, since we're getting ready for our.
Oh, you got some
ideas?
Stuff?
Yeah, we got ideas.
Oh, all right. Well, all right.
Talk about the ideas.
Right. Sounds good.
When we return, Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, Mike Carlin, 97.3 ESPN, and the mobile app.
The best way to wake up is with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Weekday mornings at 6 on 97.3 ESPN.
First Bank of Sea Isle City knows the Jersey Shore. We are local lenders. We use local appraisers and provide in-house processing. We understand the unique obstacles of financing in Cape May County. Don't take a chance. Local banking is better. Let us guide you. First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
You're listening to The Locker Room with Billy Schwein on 97.3 ESPN and the free 97.3 ESPN mobile app.
All right, PT Carlin, we're back. The Eagles, 26th of July, they open up camp. We're going to be broadcasting the Eagles pregame show yesterday.
The pregame to the pregame show.
We'll be out when weather's nice. We'll be outside in the yard.
Well, I'll tell you what, yesterday's did a really great job remodeling that, turned into a sports bar.
Yeah, it's going to be. We talked about this word
Get
a
that
lot.
Creekside in. Isn't that what yesterday's Creekside Tavern?
Creekside on it, but
got to get that Creekside in there, Bill.
In the meeting, we kept talking about we want to make this a destination.
Yes.
We want to make it that you come
That's
say
where
the first
everybody
week or second week,
yeah.
and God forbid you miss a week. You're going to be thinking about, hey, I'm going back to yesterday's next game.
So one of the things we're going to do is we're going to have at the end of the first game, everybody's going to put their name in a hat, and we're going to at the end of our show we'll pick out the name, and whoever wins, whoever's name we call, get 2 reserved seats at the bar.
2 reserve at the bar
for the next.
There
game.
could be 1,000 people at that bar, but there'll be 2 seats open for you, and
that'll be a lot of fun.
We'll
We'll have more details as we get closer, but looking forward to it. Now, PT.
The Bills report tomorrow. The Ravens are on Tuesday. The Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders, are tomorrow. The Chargers are on Tuesday. The Dolphins are on Tuesday. Patriots Tuesday. Saints Tuesday. Giants Tuesday. Jets Tuesday. That's your early teams that are reporting there. Sorry.
All right. So the Philadelphia Eagles report to camp on the 26th, and we're right around the corner from it. I'm looking at the pickups from the off season.
Mhm.
Wide receiver AJ Brown, wide receiver Zach Pascal, linebacker Hassan Reddick, quarterback James Bradbury, linebacker Kazir White, which I think he's probably the most underrated of them all. I think he's going to be a major contributor. Jaquarski White, Tart, Jordan Davis. Did I say that right, Pete?
I'm not even picking on you today. You gave me an edict before you told me
Well,
before the show started to be nicer to you, so I'm not picking on you for anything. Whatever comes out of your mouth, it's good for me.
Jordan Davis, and then of course Nakobe Dean. Out of all those names, Carlin, which one do you like? Who do you think is going to make the most immediate impact?
Oh, Brown.
How about you, Pete? Who's going to make the most immediate impact?
Brown probably, but because that's what you pay attention to is. But like you mentioned, Tart could be in that starting lineup pretty quickly. I mean, there's a lot. Look, the moves that they've made and the stuff that they've done is nothing short of outstanding. I mean, and like Pro Football Focus and all these places are giving them like an A grade and putting them either as high or second, in the ranking of off-season moves.
Yeah, I mean, the national media is giving them a lot of love, and they all say the same thing. It's them and Dallas. I mean, no one talks about Washington or the Giants.
Did Dallas lose some? I mean, they lost
Cooper.
They lost
wide receiver. It's all up. Again, guys, it's no different than any other year. You know what it's going to come down to? Who's going to be the better quarterback for Dallas or the Eagles? It's going one or the other.
Down to 3 preseason games. I know a lot of people, the games changed. I always think there was a value in preseason games, especially for the guys that are trying to make the team. And but with the collective bargaining agreement, the way things are going now, we're down to 3 preseason games: Jets, Browns, and Dolphins.
Guess what? I'll be able to do a live call in from the Browns game.
That's cool.
I will be there.
All right, that's Sunday, August 21st.
Yep.
Pete will not be able to do the South Jersey Lifeguard Championships this year because the Eagles play on that Friday night. Of course, we're contractually obligated.
Oh, yes. That's important
Friday,
to put out
August
now.
12th.
Put that out now so everybody knows. It's not our choice. We have to play the Eagles. Yes, I agree with that.
I'm just saying what I do. I still would like to do that, but unfortunately.
Well, you're going to be there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's not like you're not going to go, and then you can recap everything the next day.
Have we done the schedule where you've picked how many wins, you think?
We don't, as we get closer, we'll do that. But I do want to make some highlights. Sunday, September 11th is the opening day. September 11th, okay? Against at Detroit, all right? Then the next week is a Monday night game against the Vikings.
They got a lot of Monday night, they got a lot of night games.
Thursdays, Sundays, Mondays, yeah.
So
remember, there's 9 home games this year too.
Right, prime time, and of course, there's a couple the TBD, which is the flex. Right?
Oh, at the back end, sure.
But the flex can start as early as what, Monday, November, the 3rd of November.
Right there.
Something like that.
I'm like thinking, like, what does he have in his hand there? The schedule that I printed you out. Yes, the bye comes at a good time. The bye's in week 7. They've got 2 of the most historic franchises in all of football before and after the bye. They're home with Dallas on Sunday night, and then they come back and they're home with the Steelers after the bye.
So there's also one game on Prime Video. That means it won't be on a regular TV.
That's the Thursday night game against the Texans. Yeah.
So you got
in Houston, by the way.
Right.
What, you don't have Amazon Prime?
Well, I'm sure I'll have it.
And by the way, that says Prime Video, but I believe that there's a local obligation, like within the Delaware Valley, it has to air on whoever the official. I would think actually that might be CBS 3. Because Prime ties into, or no, that's Paramount that ties in. Scratch that idea. I don't know who, but somebody local, whoever the official Eagles station is. NBC 10. Yeah, because they had the preseason game. Yeah. So, yeah, probably NBC 10 would pick up the Prime Video feed.
All right, so let's transition. So let's look at I just wanted to bring up little Eagles because we're getting closer. I mean, Quas, he was getting all moist last night. He said he smells like fresh cut grass. And he said he's right now, the guys, this is the week before, some like Peaches Illustrated, there's guys getting ready tomorrow in the next couple of days. So.
You're spending the last couple of days with your family, you're traveling. Yeah, not everybody lives right here.
Right. Once we get football all the time. I'm going to the Tennessee game. I've already bought a pair of tickets for Michael and I to go to the Tennessee game because my sister's going to bring her boys up. So it'll be my dad, my sister, and her 2 boys in those 4 seats, my brother and sister-in-law and their group, and then myself and Michael. So we'll have a whole.
Well, I won't be going. Obviously, I'll be at yesterday's, and I'm pumped up about that. I have season tickets that I share with Scott Simpson and Playland.
I'm just thrilled. I'm thrilled.
We'll work it out. All right, we'll transition to hockey now because the Philadelphia Flyers have made some noise, but not good noise, and not in the right direction. Is there a plan for this team, Pete?
The plan appears to be stabilizing is the word that Chuck Fletcher keeps using. Stabilizing. We're going to stabilize the roster. Our expectations are that we're going to be a much more competitive team next year by stabilizing, Fletcher said. You know what stabilizing? I think that's the code word for tanking.
Well, when he said he actually came out in the post game or the pregame press conference that it would be too much trouble to rework the roster and make moves to get Johnny.
Well, the beautiful thing is we get
general manager says that
on the opposite side, we get to talk to the guy that pushed Chuck Fletcher to ask him about Johnny Gaudreau, and he was pretty terse with him. But I mean, I will say this: look, this year's draft did not have a wealth of impact players. Next year, Billy, there's a guy named Connor Bedard that is supposed to be a generational Sidney Crosby kind of player.
Okay.
So we'll see.
All right. The second hour of the Locker Room is brought to you by the Great Bay Country Club, where it's not just golf, it's fun. Make Great Bay your club. Playing that award-winning golf club that's the home of the 3-hour and 58-minute round. They're also making lots of renovations. They have a new outdoor patio overlooking the first tee with fire pits. They have a new sound system. And, of course, they have a new renovated pro shop with new apparel lines, including Fairway and Green, Stitch, Johnny O, and Doc Murphy. Completely renovated park room for dining. They do weddings with their award-winning culinary and banquet staff, customized menus, seating up to 275 people. So book a wedding now for 2023. And they're also taking social memberships, Mike Carlin.
Nice.
All right. For more information, go to greatbay.com or give them a call at 609 927-5071. Great Bay Country Club in Somers Point, New Jersey. See why it's always a great day at Great Bay. When you get down there, say hello to Radio Ryan Ralston and Ryan Owen for us. Friends, let me tell you about Maserati, the main line, located just minutes from downtown Philadelphia. They offer a client-focused car buying experience designed to exceed all expectations and invite you to stop and see the area's largest selection of new Maseratis, including the sporty midsize sedan, the Ghibli, or the class-leading Levante, the only SUV worthy being called a Maserati. Maserati, the mainline, also leads the nation in certified pre-owned sales and has the highest quality like new Maseratis available in the market. Your experience then at the point of a sale, as Maserati, the mainline, offers free pickup and delivery for scheduled service appointments and provides a new Maserati loaner car. So be audacious. Call my good friend Michael Pileggi at RDS Auto Group today at 484-804-4800. That's 484-804-4800, or visit them online anytime at motml.com. All right, when we return, we'll talk with Charlie O'Connor of The Athletic. You're listening to The Locker Room with Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, Mike Carlin, right here on 97.3 ESPN and the mobile app.
Coming up on the next edition of the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
Coming up Monday.
grand with only one dime down.
Even the new Outlander with third row seating?
Yes, sir. The all-new Springfield Mitsubishi Atlantic City in Pleasantville. They service all makes and models. Springfield Mitsubishi AC.com. Springfield Mitsubishi AC.com.
New 22 Mirage 16.4, dine down, $249 a month for 72 months at 3% APR plus tax title to qualified buyers.
Now, more of The Locker Room with Billy Schwein on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
All right, we're back here in the locker room. Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson,
There's new
Mike
lyrics
Carlin.
to this song. Every move Chuck makes makes me want to lose my lunch because I want to kill him. Why is he doing this stupid things?
So
fire Chuck Fletcher.
Johnny Gaudreau.
Fire him today.
Local guy. I played hockey with his father, Guy Gaudreau. I played with him and against him. He was a good hockey player, very good. But Johnny Gaudreau made it clear that he wanted to be here.
1,000%.
1,000% wanted to be here.
As plain as the nose on your face.
Turned down a big contract. He took less money from Columbus than Calgary had offered him. So I wanted to find out. When I want to find out things, I go to the guy in the know. All right. So
that's Charlie.
That's Charlie. So without any further ado, let's go to the Maserati, the Mainline Sports Hotline, and welcome in the only reporter that was there live for the press conference. He covers the Flyers for The Athletic, Charlie O'Connor. Good morning, Charlie.
Hey, Billy, how you doing?
All right, man. What's happening?
It's a weird time to be covering the Flyers right now. I can tell you that.
So Pete tells me when he was just talking to you, you told him you were the only reporter live in the press conference.
Yeah, well, all the other main beat writers, they had COVID, so it was yeah. It was the entire, I guess all of it was put on me to be the person who was grilling Chuck Fletcher after the first day of free agency. He did basically nothing.
All right, so Charlie, a lot of people asking me. I mean, I have my opinions. I'm not there like you are, so that's why I wanted to get you on to talk about this. The Philadelphia Flyers. A lot of people are upset that the Flyers didn't do more, try harder to get Johnny Gaudreau into the fold to become a Flyer, and then he makes a statement saying it would have been basically, I'm paraphrasing, it would have been too much work. Who says that?
Yeah, to me, the big issue here, because there's a scenario where I think fans would have been okay with him not chasing down Johnny Gaudreau if the Flyers would have told their fans back in January and also back in May when Chuck Fletcher talked to the media after the season ended. You would have told everyone that, it's going to be a few years before we're good. Right. We're rebuilding. We're looking at this as a long-term project because in that case, it doesn't make a lot of sense to spend a ton of money on Johnny Gaudreau because, you sign a guy like that to a big money contract for 7 years and you're wasting the first 2-3 years of his contract on a rebuilding team. That would have been fine. The problem was that the Flyers ownership and Chuck Fletcher made it clear that they think they can turn this around quickly. And if you think you can turn this around quickly, what the easiest way to turn something around quickly is you get a superstar who wants to come here. So if you have the idea that this is as they put it in January, an aggressive retool, you have to go after Johnny Gaudreau. You have to find a way to make the money work. You have to, basically do what the Vegas Golden Knights do, where if they have a chance to get a really good player, they get the really good player and they figure out the money later. And if you're rebuilding, then rebuild and make it clear to the fans that that's what you're doing. You're rebuilding. You're not going to chase after the big name players. You're going to build through the draft. You're going to trade guys away for draft picks, but you can't hire John Tortorella, a win now coach. You can't trade draft picks for Tony DeAngelo, who's obviously kind of a win now player. You're not giving away assets if you're a rebuilding team and then pass up on the best free agent on the market who wants to come to Philadelphia. The problem here in my mind is that the plan is inconsistent. They have an idea of what they want to do, but they kind of want to do two things at once. They want to rebuild and they also want to be good. And the problem is that they're not making anyone happy. The people who want the team to be good aren't happy because they didn't get Johnny Gaudreau. The people who want the team to rebuild aren't happy because they're not actually rebuilding. They're doing this weird middle ground. And
but Charlie, I think the reason for that is because they don't know. They're uncertain because of let's face it, all the injuries they faced. I'm not making excuses for the team. Everybody goes through injuries, but they lost like 8 significant players to some, they lost a lot of games. So they don't know what they have.
That's true. I mean, but the problem is that the injuries that they've dealt with, it just adds to the uncertainty of the team. Like, for example, you look at a guy like Ryan Ellis. Yes, the fact that they had Ryan Ellis for only 4 games last year, that was a big problem, and it hurt the team significantly. But there's no guarantee that Ryan Ellis is ever going to be able to come back. I mean, this is a team that over the last few weeks, they traded for Tony DeAngelo to play on the right side, and they re-signed Justin Braun. That tells me that they don't think that Ryan Ellis is going to be back at least for the start of the season, maybe not ever. And if you're banking on Ryan Ellis coming back because you say, well, the fact that he was injured was a big reason why we were bad last year, well, you're telling me with your moves that you don't think he's going to be back, so you're not going to get that boost from him coming back because you don't think he's going to be back. And then you look at guys like Kevin Hayes and Sean Couturier. Like, yes, Sean Couturier missed a lot of the year because of his back injury. He had surgery. I think he'll be back, and I think he'll be the same guy. But you look at someone like Kevin Hayes. Kevin Hayes had 3 core surgeries within 12 months. Yes, he came back at the end of the year. He looked a bit better. But there's no guarantee you're ever going to get the old Kevin Hayes back. There's no guarantee that guy, after that many surgeries, is going to be the same player he was before the surgeries. I hope he is. You know, he's a good guy. Obviously, he's been through a lot. I hope he comes back strong and he comes back the same guy he was in 2019, 2020. But you can't be certain that's going to happen because he's 30 years old. You know, you have that many surgeries and you're a little bit older, you might never be the same player. And that just adds to the uncertainty of how this team can actually bounce back from these injuries because it's no guarantee that these guys are going to be the same players post-injury.
Charlie O'Connor with us from The Athletic, the lone guy in attendance for this Brain Trust press conference's latest piece. Flyers fans right to be infuriated by aggressive retool failures is his column. And by the way, Mike and Billy, I'll just put out there that I subscribe to The Athletic, and I would urge you to do so as well. But Billy's right, Charlie. Almost 500 man hours, man games because of injury or illness, second worst record in franchise history. But my question to you is, since we're focused on the words aggressive retool, is this going to go down in history like when Lurie said gold standard or when John Middleton said stupid money? Is this now going to be the phrase that for like 5 or 6 years, we're going to be like, remember when those dingbats said aggressive retool and then they gave us this?
I would not be surprised if it's remembered like that, especially because, you know, the thing with the Johnny Gaudreau situation is that, and I can tell you this being, you know, in hockey circles, it's been an open secret for literally years that Johnny Gaudreau wanted to be a Philadelphia Flyer. Like, it was talked about every time I would go on the road, especially if I would go up to Calgary to cover a game. It'd be like, Johnny's coming back home when his contract's done, right? It was just discussed. It was assumed. Like, the fact that the Flyers didn't prepare for this, that they weren't like, you look at basketball. When a big time free agent is going to hit the market, teams prepare for that a year in advance. They clear out cap space. They clear out money. They're, you know, if the, you know, one of the top 5 best players is going to be available, they know they want to take a run at him. And everyone in hockey knew that Johnny Gaudreau wanted to be a Flyer, that was his top choice. And the fact that the Flyers did not prepare adequately from a cap standpoint to clear out the necessary space to make sure that they could give him a legitimate offer, it's wild to me because it wasn't a secret. Everyone knew he legitimately wanted to come back to Philly. And if you're going to sell the idea of an aggressive retool, if you're going to go up there in January and you're going to say that we're aggressively retooling, the only way an aggressive retool makes sense is if you're getting Johnny Gaudreau. And they could have done it. They could have done it, and they just didn't want to.
Yeah, I always think back to like when the Rangers put out that letter to the season ticket holders and said, like, look, we're going to go through some tough times. We're going to be moving some people, but we'll be back. And the Rangers have been back. And the Flyers, they just don't seem to have the identity of what they want to be. Charlie O'Connor's with us on the Maserati, the mainline hotline. And I did tweet and included you in a tweet where I saw this last night that Nick Delorier's contract with the Flyers includes trade protection or like a modified no move clause. And I said, what? I got to ask Charlie about this. Not only do they bring in an enforcer, 31 years old, who averaged 6 goals a year for the past 5 seasons, but you bring him in with a modified no trade clause. Who's running this thing?
Yeah, that was wild to me. And the thing with Nick Delorier is, like, I can understand to a point why you want to do that, because you're looking at it, you're saying, well, we're going to be bringing up a lot of kids. We want to have a guy to kind of be there to protect the kids. I get that. But to give him a 4-year contract and to give him no trade protection, it's wild. This is not a guy. This is an intangibles guy. This is a guy who brings intangibles. He's going to fight. He's going to protect. He's going to be that policeman on the ice. And if you sign that guy for 1-2 years, sure. Especially if you don't think your team is going to be that good during those 1 to 2 years, sure, I get it. That makes sense. But to sign into a 4-year contract, and I know why they did it. The reason why they did it is because there were a lot of teams that wanted him, and that's what they had to give him to get him to sign. I get it, but at some point, like, you don't have to be the team that gives the bad contract. You know, if the ask gets too ridiculous, you can walk away. You don't have to get this guy, especially because they already have Rasmus Ristolainen, who they signed in part to be that physical presence who scares teams. They already have Zach McEwen, who's a heavyweight fighter. Like, they didn't need Nick Deloria. They already have guys that play that style, that old school Flyers style, but they just decided we want the biggest and baddest fighter in the league. And they got him for 4 years with no trade protection.
And he's in the top 10 in hits with 263, penalty minutes 113, and fighting majors 13. And I guess this is what Tortorella wants, that type of big physical player. Let's face it, Charlie. The Flyers have been small in stature. I think they only got 4 guys on the roster. Last year's roster.
Well, and that would be the argument against Goodrow, is that you already have Travis Konecny, you already have Cam Atkinson.
Right.
Are you going to add another small guy?
Right.
Well, yeah, when he's like only second behind Connor McDavid in points.
Yeah, when he scored 115 points last year, you probably figure it out later.
We're talking with Charlie O'Connor, who covers the Flyers for The Athletic. Of course, I met Charlie back a few years back, and we were both green. Right, we were up in the press box and we got to know each other. And Charlie, you've come a long way. You do a great job with The Athletic. What have you learned from the time that I met you? We were sitting next to each other and down in the locker room getting interviews. What's the one thing that you've learned in your job that you take with you?
That's a good question. I think you definitely learn that. To me, I mean, I came up as a blogger. And, when you're blogging, you definitely can be a little bit more, I wouldn't say cruel, but you are a little bit more, biting in terms of your analysis of players and coaches and general managers. And one thing I will say is that, when you get more access, when you're writing for a real professional publication, you do realize, like, these guys are people. And, not saying you shouldn't be critical of them, because especially in a situation like this, with Chuck Fletcher, with the Flyers, like, you have to be critical of them. You have to, criticize them for not living up to their words and not delivering what the fans want. But you also have to remember that, being critical and pointing out mistakes, there's a difference between that and just being nasty for the sake of being nasty. And, that's definitely something.
Negadelphia.
Yeah, but I mean, they're people, and, there's a balance between criticizing and being fair and pointing out when mistakes are made, and then just being cruel. And I think that's something that I've definitely learned as I've, kind of moved up the ladder.
Charlie, we're getting close on time, but I do want to, before we let you go, ask you about this. How do you define the difference between rebuild or retool? Because you specifically asked that and got back the response, well, we're retooling, Charlie, blah, 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 spit. How do you define the difference?
I think the way they look at it, the word rebuild really scares them. And I think it scares both management and ownership, because they don't want to admit that this team isn't going to be good for a few years. So they use the word retool because they want to say, well, we can turn it around. We have John Tortorella. He's going to make this team tougher to play against. He's going to make this team, win more games. And you know what? Maybe he will. But to me, if the Flyers, like, let's say John Tortorella makes this team better just because he's a legitimately very good coach, and he is. It was a good hire if you're just looking to hire a legitimately very good coach, and I suspect he will make the Flyers better. But the Flyers just, even if they play smarter and more structured, they just don't have the talent to compete with teams like Colorado, with teams like Tampa Bay. And if you're going to actually want to be on their level, a rebuild is the only way to do it, because you have to get those high-end players. You have to get, guys like Johnny Gaudreau, definitely, but you also have to draft them. You have to draft high enough in the draft in multiple years to get, Steven Stamkos, Victor Hedman, guys like that. The top of the lineup franchise guys that change a game every time they're on the ice. And I just don't see the Flyers right now having a path to getting those guys. Obviously, they drafted 5th overall this past year. They drafted Cutter Gauthier. They're hoping he's going to be a guy like that. But it's going to take time. He's not going to be on the NHL team this season. He's going to take at least 1 or 2 years to be there. And who knows what he's going to become. The way that you make a team like Colorado, you make a team like Tampa Bay, is you have to get high-end talent through the draft. And sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes you stumble into Braden Point or Nikita Kucherov outside of the first round. But mostly it's by getting guys at the top of the draft like Nate McKinnon, like Cale Makar, like Gabriel Landeskog. And if the Flyers think that they can build a legitimately elite team without truly rebuilding, I think that their approach to this is just entirely flawed.
Well, we'll see. I mean, Chuck Fletcher's now on the clock, because if they get slow, if they come out and they don't perform well, it's curtains for Trader Chuck Fletcher. Charlie, it's always a pleasure talking to you. We look forward to the up and coming season, and we'll do it again.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Billy. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Charlie.
Charlie Fletcher covers the Flyers for
Charlie O'Connor.
I mean, what did I say? Charlie Fletcher?
Yeah, you made him part of the Fletcher family.
Mal what?
Mr. Malaprop. You're always good for one a show.
Covers the Flyers for the Athletic, Charlie O'Connor on the Maserati, the Mainline Sports Hotline. All right, the second hour of the locker room is brought to you by the Great Bay Country Club, where it's not just golf, it's fun. Make Great Bay Country Club your club. For more information, go to greatbay.com or give them a call at 609-927-5071. Great Bay Country Club in Summers Point, New Jersey. See why it's always a great day at Great Bay. Just about everybody in our area has heard about the Jersey Man and Philly Man magazine that's run by ex-Philadelphia tight end Ken Dunnick. For you aware of their private business network they call the Legacy Club. Every month they hold private events at upscale locations in Philadelphia and South Jersey that attract over 200 top business people. If you have an interest in attending one of these events and see it's a fit for your business, send an email to ken@jerseymanmagazine.com or give them a call at 856-912-4007 for more information. Of course, they'll be at the pool at Harrah's on the 28th of July. So get an email into Ken Dunnick. All right, when we return, we'll wrap it up. You're listening to The Locker Room with Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, Mike Carlin, right here on 97.3 ESPN and the mobile app.
Tomorrow on ESPN Radio, some of the big
calling 877-ASK-DEL. That's 877-ASK-DEL.
You're listening to The Locker Room with Billy Schwein on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
And I guess it's all true what your
right,
girlfriend say. Go ahead, PT. What do you got,
Easy
buddy?
over there. Well, the Phillies lineup's out first and foremost. This is your Phillies lineup today, supporting Aaron Nola. Kyle Schwarber leading off, playing left field. Reese Hoskins is your designated hitter. He's in the 2-hole. Castellanos in right field, batting third. Real Muto's hitting cleanup and catching. Alec Boehm at third is in the 5-hole. Matt Vierling is in center in the 6-hole. Didi Gregorius 7 playing short. Munoz 8th. And Margo is playing first base. So they're giving Hoskins a day off from playing first.
Boehm got a hit last night. Raised his average to 273.
I was just going to say.
So he's the only one.
I think he's the guy to watch out today.
Aaron Nola versus Trevor Rogers. One other thing I wanted to say real quick about Charlie O'Connor. He basically, you got to read this column, Billy. I'll give you my password if you need it. But he basically talks about the fact that the reason the overarching plan seems to have little coherency and consistency is because it keeps changing, which makes it no plan at all. The quote, he talked to a fan over there at the skate zone. The guy said, I just want us to pick a direction. Are we going to go for it? If we go for it, go for it. If not, tear it down and rebuild. That's why I asked him the difference between rebuild and retool. All right, wrap it up.
I want to thank Tommy Greene, as always. He's with us every Sunday on the mound with Tommy Greene. Thanks, Mike Carlin. As always, thank you, Pete Thompson. Thanks for making the locker room part of your Sunday, because nothing could be finer than talking sports with the Schweiner. Have a great rest of your week. Stay the Sports Bash with Mike Gill Monday through Friday from 2 to 6. We'll see you next week.
In a city made specially for your entertainment, where the second you arrive, it's time to